Let's go live to Washington now and speak to former US Deputy Envoy Ellie Cohanim. Ellie, great to have you on the show. First of all, what's your reaction to the attacks on Beirut last night?
Leanne, it's good to be with you as always. I would say when we're looking at the situation in Beirut, we should take a big picture view and see that the U.S., Israel, and Lebanon right now have a success story to share. Just last week, the Wall Street Journal issued a great story about how Israel has been sharing intelligence through the United States to the Lebanese government on Hezbollah strongholds, on military spots in Lebanon where there are a lot of weapons kept by Hezbollah, and the Lebanese army and Lebanese government has managed to destroy a lot of those sites or to capture those weapons for their own army's use. And so this is actually a positive story. We have to expect that there are going to be moments like this morning where Israel did, in fact, strike this location where there were apparently UAVs being produced. And, I think that's par for the course for as long as the Iran-backed Hezbollah terrorist militia has any kind of presence or is up to their nefarious activity. But again, I would say that the big picture is a positive picture for the region.
And Ellie, in Gaza, since the GHF began aid distribution, there's been reports of shootings by Israeli military and reported overcrowding. What steps are now being taken to make sure aid sites are safe? And how concerned are the Republican Party about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza right now?
Well, I think everyone is concerned about the humanitarian crisis, which was produced by Hamas, let's not forget, not only with their invasion and their attack of October 7th and starting a war with Israel, but also we've seen tons and tons of documentation of Hamas pilfering the international aid that was meant for Gaza's civilians. And the reports showed us that Hamas was actually stealing the aid and selling it to Gaza civilians, which was meant to be given to the civilians for free, right? This was international aid meant for Gazans. And so it has taken some time, I think, for the Israelis with U.S. support to figure out this food distribution system. We're only in the very early stages of it. And so it's not surprising that there are these incidents where apparently Gazans have really come towards the Israeli forces in a way that the forces felt that their own lives were at risk. So we can expect some chaos at the beginning of a system being put in order, especially given a situation where, you've got millions of civilians, as U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff has described, in an unlivable, uninhabitable situation. Look, there were hopes that Israel's Arab neighbors like Egypt, as an example, would take some refugees. They've so far refused to do that. So given all these factors, I think that the right thing is for the international community to have some patience while the system is worked out. And I do expect that we're going to see a lot of progress in the food distribution system very soon.
Ellie, I spoke to a doctor who is working in Gaza in a pediatric department earlier this week, Nasser Hospital in Gaza, and he said to me that people from these aid distribution sites are coming in with bullet wounds and they've been targeted. And he was saying that they don't feel that there is Hamas presence at the moment. So Hamas would push back against that. How does this situation end? How do people actually get the aid they need? And where's the resolution down the line here?
Well, I think the way people get the aid they need is by trying to behave in an orderly manner. I have to say that, again, anyone who's familiar with this conflict and is familiar with how Hamas operates, how terrorists operate, is often that they are hanging out and shielding themselves among civilian populations, and it's impossible for Israeli defense forces or for American contractors to be able to distinguish between those who are innocent and those who are not. I mean, sadly, that's how Hamas has operated. They have used the Gaza civilian population as their own human shields. And so, again, this is just a matter of time before this new food aid organization is able to create an orderly system so that people can receive the food aid. And let's remember, we're, again, almost 2 years into a system previously where Hamas was hijacking the food aid. So I think anyone who's actually concerned for Gaza civilians should be applauding the fact that there's now this system that will deliver the food that Gazans desperately need.
And Ellie, I just want to switch gears slightly because you posted a picture of yourself and President Donald Trump on social media today saying you and I have just one job, and that is to vote, vote and vote. As the fallout with Elon Musk does dominate headlines, is the Republican Party now concerned about the midterms? And without Musk's money, can you actually win them and be successful?
Well, that's a terrific question. And I would tell you this, Republicans have won in the past without Elon Musk's money. So I'm not concerned about that. I think that it was really an unfortunate kind of falling out that took place so publicly between Elon Musk and the president. But Elon Musk has to be really aware of the fact that President Trump won this last election with a huge mandate. I mean, let's remember, he won every single swing state in the United States. And so the public sentiment is going to be with the president of the United States. Again, the unfortunate part was that this falling out was so public. My hope is that today, behind the scenes, there are people who are going to bring the two sides, to some sort of rapprochement and really put this sad affair to an end. But at the end of the day, it's really President Trump who has the American public's support, and he's going to continue to have the American public's support.
And Ellie, you're close with the president. Have you heard from him? And what do you think he'll be thinking right now?
Well, I think the president is an incredibly savvy person, and so he's probably not all that surprised by what happened with Elon Musk. I'm sure he's disappointed. I think he has said as much publicly. But I think that the president, has a read on people, and we started to see this saga kind of weeks in advance, where it started with President Trump letting the public know that as much as he appreciated Elon Musk's service to our country, that service was going to be coming to an end. And so, again, I think that President Trump is really a good reader of people. And he probably knew that Elon Musk was going to be unhappy with some of the events that unfolded. For example, the fact that the EV mandate, the electrical vehicle mandate that was previously in the congressional bill that's being voted upon right now and being looked at right now in the U.S. Congress would no longer be as part of the bill. And this is a situation that puts Elon Musk, at the potential of his personal financial loss and his company's financial loss. And so a lot of people are attributing Musk's actions right now to his own personal situation and personal finances. It's a sad shame, and I think all of us wish that Elon Musk would have been better than this. At the same time, many people are grateful to Elon Musk for the fact that he did his acquisition of Twitter, now X, and his role in helping make sure that in the United States we had a free public conversation, especially in the lead up to the 2024 elections, which did indeed help President Trump win the election.
Ellie, let's hope that we see the makeup after the breakup. Thank you so much for joining us, former US Deputy Envoy Ellie Cohanim. Always great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.